Everybody, thank you for being with us tonight. It's a special thing, a special one for me because it's the first time in 5 years that I do an interview in person. It never happened before. Yeah. Denny did, the other host, but I never had the chance to do it. COVID, traveling, tour, whatever. So now I have the chance to do it tonight and in a pretty good place. So we have our guest of tonight. So I would like to present you the owner of Drum, etc. It's a pretty cool store. I don't know if you know that store. It's in Pennsylvania, in Lancaster. And Adam, you're owning this place for like how many years now?
Over 4 years now. Not quite 5, but we're over 4 years, which seems wild to me because it feels, sometimes I think it was just yesterday that I took over. And then other days, I feel like I've been doing this forever.
So tell us the story about it. Why one day you're like, okay, I'm going to start or purchase a drum shop?
Yeah, so it was, take me way back to when I was in school and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And as soon as I had the opportunity to really think about what I wanted to do, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted my own business of some kind. And of course, everyone tells you if you can make money with your passions, you should try to do that. So I was very grateful to be in the situation when I was in high school that I didn't have to work. You know, I didn't have to, get 2 or 3 jobs to help pay the bills. I thank my family for that opportunity. But when it was time for me to get my first job, I had the opportunity to really think about what I wanted to do. And I remember thinking, I don't want to flip burgers at McDonald's or something. You know, I want to try to from the gate get something that's associated with my passion. And I started playing drums in high school. So I was in a band, in a garage band, playing in talent shows, that whole thing. And I was like, my favorite store is Drums, etc. So long before I owned the store, I was just a customer.
You were purchasing stuff, gear from here.
Constantly. Yeah, constantly. It's my favorite place. It was like a candy store. So I thought to myself, I felt really motivated one day. I was like, I'm going to just drive there and see if they need any help and show up. Not ask for a job, not ask to be paid, just show up.
You need help. I want to be here. I
want
to be part of this.
I'm going to be here anyway, so I might as well help learn the ropes and help you guys out. So I just got in my car one day, drove to Drums, etc., and said, hey, who's the owner? Can I contact them? Can I shadow? Because I knew that was a thing that happened in a lot of small businesses. Just come in, see what it's like. It wasn't for a school project.
Like an intern-ish?
Sure, like an intern, exactly. So I said, hey, I'm available. And I want to be around drums. I love this. This is my passion. Would you mind if I came in one day just to see what you guys do? A little behind the scenes.
That's great.
And of course, now I've done that with tons of kids. And who would I be to reject that? Because this is how I made my way, you know? So, and from a business owner perspective that I have now, free help, great. Awesome. Like you can pack drumsticks, you can ship things out, you can do clean up, sweep the floors. So Rick Hamilton, the original owner, started Drums, etc. in 1985.
That's a long time. Fast
forward to 2014, I show up and a little before that actually, but I show up and just volunteer my time. So for around 6 months, I get off of school, I hop in the car, I drive to Drums, etc., work for 4 hours until the shop closes. And that's what I did for once to twice a week, depending on what they needed.
That's amazing.
And I showed up for longer than Rick remembered. He's like, oh, you're still showing up one day?
Oh, you're still here?
And I'm like, yeah. So eventually, being a small business, we don't hire and let go people very often. Sean Groff who works for me now, has been working at the shop for over 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So there's a core group of employees. So at the time when I was shadowing, there was only 3 or 4 guys that worked there. Eventually, one guy left for another job, and I didn't fill out an application until after I was already hired because I knew everything.
Yeah, because it's not just like touching drums. You have to do all that financial part.
The systems.
And the system, like managing him. Like even if it's 1 employee or 2 or 3, but you have to manage some employees, taxes, whatever. There's so many things related to that, and people they don't know that. So that's an important part.
Yeah.
Because you can play music, but you need some kind of business a business side. Did your family own a business, or
No.
Never been
No,
involved
and
before
that was actually part of my passion that inspired me to do this. Is I remember being of the age, and I had friends in school that had relatives or someone who could get them in the door, connections, and no one in my family had that. There's definitely some entrepreneurial blood in my family if you look through uncles and other things like that, but none of them had an active business or anything that I could shadow at or do anything. So I said, well, if I'm just gonna show up somewhere, I'm gonna go towards my passion, which is the drums. So long story short, I got hired bottom of the totem pole, below the bottom of the totem pole, started, worked my way up. I was just the Saturday guy, which no one wants to work on Saturdays every Saturday and be there at 9 a.m. open to close, because a lot of us are gigging. But at the time, I could do it.
Yeah, at the time, but it's not. I liked Saturdays.
Do you?
I was doing some work on Saturdays and the music, not music store, like a music, like CD music, like tape cassettes, stuff like that. And I was like, I had my own moment putting my music that I wanted. I think it's a vibe you want or you don't want,
Yeah, and I think that's the way that you kind of get into the music industry. It's anything that happens while other people in the industry are gigging and playing a lot, that's usually the shift where you can start. So that's where I started, and then worked my way up. And eventually, a lot of folks don't know this, but I had the opportunity to partner up with someone else and kind of take over the business and do that sort of thing.
That's great.
But it was the absolute hardest decision of my life, because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted it to be in the drums. I showed up day one trying to steal all of Rick's ideas so I could open my own drum shop someday. Well, the problem is you get stuck, No, but we had the opportunity to kind of take it over, and the deal didn't make sense for me. Okay. It just timeline, money. There's all these details that go into it, and I had to say no.
You're like, this okay?
It just didn't make sense for me, and it was literally to this day like the hardest decision, because I was this close to what I thought my dream was, but I didn't want to compromise the situation. So years go by. I actually left Drums Etc. for about 6 months and got a different job, chased money, worst decision of my life, and ended up, when the store was moved to this location, which is on Lidditz Pike now, the previous owner, Rick Hamilton, turned the previous shop, it was this big, that it got turned into a 23-unit, one-bedroom apartment building.
Yeah,
that's how big New Holland Ave was. It was huge. It was massive. We had a whole second floor of lesson studios. But anyway, that big, overwhelming shop all of a sudden became much smaller and much more manageable, and then had the opportunity again to step in, and that's where I was able to do so 4.5 years ago.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, the place you were talking about is right by my place, and it's pretty it's downtown. But what I like about that place, people cannot see right now, but later we can make a little tour walking around. You don't have like a normal store, I would say. It's more like a boutique store. For the people that don't know what is a boutique, you have a lot of exclusive kind of thing, like snare drum, like you won't find at like a more major, like a bigger store. So that's pretty nice, because if you're looking for a specific snare that are more like exclusive, rare to find out, you have a lot of these. But at the same time, you have a lot of drums. Like if you're a kid and you want to start, you have a lot of these drums. And what I like to, like when I just showed up tonight, you have a kit just like in front of me, and it's like, this is $799, and it's pretty cool. If you didn't tell me the price, I don't know, I was thinking it was a $2,000 kit, you know what I mean? And that's the good thing, like before, kids didn't have that opportunity to get like a kit affordable for families, and there's less excuses, I mean, in our days. But you have a lot of like second-hand kit, and they can have a second life, third life, fourth, fifth life, So that's pretty nice. And I realize you like drums, but you have a lot of percussion, and that's a great thing. When you started that, you wanted to be connect only with drummers, or what is drum and percussion, like all that world, or you wanted to be like more in one way, you know what I mean? Like
right, yeah, like the different avenues and kind of like
different avenues.
There's definitely different avenues, and it's funny because everyone has this impression that the drum and percussion world is huge. They think that there's, we always joke, there's smokestacks going up and there's drums in production. There's these big, production lines. That's not the case.
It's not the case.
As the closer you get to these companies, and even the biggest ones in the country, it's a select handful of people making these decisions of what color is this and how are we going to do this. And, this lug insert gets gets gunked up. We need some more lug oil in there. Those small decisions. You know, it's a relatively small community, and it's very important to me that we as a store represent, you know, as many different sectors of the drums and percussion world. And while we do that, you know, it's one of those things where I get the joy and the stress of picking out what the store has, right? And I immediately, day one, made videos and put them out saying, what do you want to the community? Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve the community. So it's very important to me. Feedback is super important, whether it's a drum project we're working on and you have a better way of doing it or some 2 cents you want to chime in on, great. If I'm going to order, I got to order, you know, a Ludwig Classic Maple Kit. What finishes do you guys want? I'll put it out there and then I'll get one in because what ends up happening at a store like ours is, you know, it's funny you say the boutique thing, but also the entry level thing. What ends up happening at a store like ours is the high-end stuff ends up becoming something where you can try it out, touch it, feel it, taste test it, essentially. And then if you want a different color, we'll get you your color or a different configuration or whatever that might be. So for high-end, it's basically, you know, a shot in the dark of what finishes you guys might want, and I try to put it out there. And then on the back end, our support for the drummers goes throughout their entire drumming journeys. Our you know, even back to our mission statement as a company, it all harkens back to supporting drummers throughout their drumming journeys. So I never want a drummer to walk in here and feel like they can't find something that they can afford or save up for, or you know, I want every drummer that walks in the shop to feel like they belong. And a really important part of that is if we don't have any pre-owned kits under $500, you know, then that's not very accessible for the high school kid saving up his lawn mowing money. That was me. For my first drum set, I saved up, you know, did odd jobs here and there, and I came in with a stack of ones, you know, from
paying
cash. And I saved up $700 and I bought a Ludwig kit. You know, that was my first kit that I purchased for myself at Drums Etc. I actually still have the receipt upstairs, which is pretty cool.
That's funny.
I stashed it in a case.
A frame? No?
Not yet, but it should be, right? It should be now because I'm here. But it all goes back to the point that I want to support drummers throughout their entire drumming journey, whether that's just answering questions digitally across the globe, or that's someone walking in the door and saying, hey, this pedal feels weird. And that's all the description they give me, and I can help them out with that.
But it's good. It's a good point because you are selling an experience. I always say when you go somewhere, you want to live that experience. Like I mean, I remember when I was like in 2003, like on tour, first Apple store in the world was opening in San Francisco, and I went there 2 weeks after. And they were selling you the experience. Yes, the gear was nice, but you're going there. It's the Apple stuff. It's an example, but I mean, when you go in a store like here, you want the people feel there's an experience linked to it. And you were telling like that kit is more like high-end kit is more like a touch feeling. People can look at it and order what they want. Ludwig did that with the salesman kit back in the days with that's finished with multiple colors, and finally became popular, and people started to buy that kit. You know, the salesman finish. It was a very popular one, and sometimes we are thinking colors or sizes make sense to us, but a lot of people are not playing drum or not connected like us in the industry. They only want a kit in their backyard or in their basement to play, but they have flames, finish with flames, or huge bass drum like 24 by 20, an example. But these kind of person is nice. We need that we need persons like that because it's diversity, and it's different needs because they don't tour. They don't need to take their kit in their car. They have that massive dream to have the Lars Ulrich kit, you know. So you need to be open-minded for different demands. I remember like a friend of mine, he told me like when he was working in a music store a long time ago, like they were always ordering, because I was saying Lars, like a Tama kit, white, no matter which series, can be the Swing Star, white, 4-tom bass drum, 2 bass drum, and they were selling the kit in a minute, like maybe in a minute, but like in a week. Because of that image, you know. So we need people like that. But just for example, what are your customer? What are the customer like? You have from every level or every skill musician, or you will say in Lancaster we have a bit more of these kind of musician, or it's very diverse. What is the kind of
Right,
customer?
right. So locally, the customer makeup, it can be broken down into like a couple different avenues. The couple of the most popular two like kind of customer sets that we probably deal with are gonna be the drummer who's been playing their whole life or got out of drums and got back into it.
Yep.
You know, the hardcore drum nerd, as I like to call us, which is an okay term now. You don't get bullied by being a drum nerd. It's very
I'm
good.
a drum nerd, and so yeah. So
Exactly. So there's that drum nerd type of customer that comes in here and finds a home here because we talk the language, right? And then what we're have been encouraging, especially because Drums Etc. has always had a lesson program, is trying to encourage the younger generation to get into drumming. So we've always had personal, private one-on-one weekly drum lessons here, and that's always been super important. Yeah, we've got two studios here. Yep, Studio A and Studio B, which are filling up. In fact, I have teachers that want another studio or another day. So yeah, part of we're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, it's so those types of customers are always, and I hate to even call them customers. It's more of like a drumming family.
Yeah,
but
it's
like
a family.
it's definitely like you have the hardcore drum guys that we know what we're talking about, and then you have people that know nothing but know that we can guide them through their journey.
Yeah. For example, in front of you cannot see, but there's cajon like everywhere. Like these are very popular, but there's people they don't know nothing about cajon. For them, it's a wood box and what I can do with that. But there are different qualities, so it's good. You can guide them for getting them in. I'm saying that because for me, a cajon started to be one of my best friends for a few years because I was doing like some small gigs, and then I have to bring my kit. I have like that cajon pedal, the cajon, a shaker, sometimes a side snare. And it's done. You can do your gig. When it's done at the night, you pack. But some people they don't know nothing about that. They're like, oh, that's so nice, and I didn't know it exists. Yes, but that's the magic. When you come in a store and just here, you have millions of stuff. So people can just get a shaker because they like it, but they can get a cajon, but they can get a drum for $4,000. That's the magic of. It's different realities of if you compare like back in the days, like you have a very like diverse accessibilities. Lines and colors and drums and whatever you want. Just the cymbals there are so many. So before you have like 2-3 brands and that's it. Now there's so many brands
unlimited
out there.
Yeah.
So anyway.
My biggest thing that and I think that our biggest strength and our differentiation through bigger brands or even other drum shops is we are fully here. Like we'll ring you out, but we're not sales guys. Like we're here to be impartial and to just make sure all of your options are available.
You're not upselling.
And if something sucks, we'll tell you it sucks. I'm serious though. Like if someone comes in and says, "Hey, what's the difference between this and this? If you had, $800 to spend, what would you get?" And we'll say this. We'll tell you. Like there's so much over glossification of like, oh, everything's diverse. You go on a cymbals, for example, a cymbal site, and they've been doing this for years in magazines, everything. And they're like, this ride is versatile. It's good for pop, rock, jazz, funk, R&B, metal. And I'm like, that's not possible. Like that's like we'll be like, hey, if you take this ping ride around the corner to your local bar gig and you play a 5B or a 3A and you're wailing on the thing.
You're kicked out.
First of all, you're never going to get invited back. You're going to get kicked out. We're here to be real with people and to just level the playing field. Everyone has stuff. And the reality is that most professional drum shops have access to the exact same product. This Tama Superstar kit, anyone who, any dealership of Tama, can get that exact kit and that exact finish, and we all are selling it for basically the same price. Essentially. So that's not worth us pushing.
Nope.
We just have it if someone wants to see it and touch it and feel it, and we'll tell you our real experience with it because we've taken it apart, we've put it back together. We know every little part of how the mount functions and how that changed from 2 years ago when they updated the clamping system on it, but didn't put that in the catalog. That's the level of detail we can have.
And it's because upselling maybe now is harder than before, but I remember like a student, he was playing with a Mapex Saturn Pro, pretty good kit, honestly, for the price, hard to beat. he went in a store and he saw a kit, the Black Panther version, kind of same wood, kind of same kit, but like $2,000 more, something like that. So he has to get a loan for it. He got in trouble, and I said, "Why did you do that?" It's like the kit was apparently better, and the color is nice. I'm like, it's almost the same kit, man. It's like almost an apple for an apple, almost. This one is just a bit bigger. So, but it's important. But he didn't really know the quality of the. For him, it was a drum. You know what I mean? So when you start digging into it, but if you have like someone like you, like coaching them a bit when they're coming, it's an important thing because, like you say, like people coming in and here and they don't have idea of what it is. They just want a drum.
Yeah.
But some people, they will be very nerdy, like you said, and they will come in and say, "Hey, that Keith Carter Gretsch snare is pretty cool," but nobody will know what it is. You know, it's like just you have to manage these kind of people. You know, and it's pretty good. So I remember when I started play drums in my hometown, we had one store and later two, but one store, and I remember the biggest kit was like a white Yamaha kit and a Westbury kit, and that was. You want a Westbury or you want a recording custom back at $6,000 back then?
Two options. Right?
It's like, it was hard. So, but now it all have changed. But anyway, okay, different story because now we're talking about the store. We'll go later. I want to show like all the drums, but I would like to talk about you and what and your career as a drummer. What do you like, stuff like that. For example, I know you played in many bands, and I know you're still active as a drummer. And so how you can do that? Like, I mean, you're a businessman, you have a store, you're running that store like, what, 6-7 days a week?
6.
6, right, that's a lot. And you have time to have bands and playing around. How you manage that first?
So you need some employees. No, and I don't have enough.
Ben gear.
Exactly. No, so personally, the drums were always very much, a hobby of mine and like a personal thing that has just kind of been consistent throughout my life ever since I started. Like I said, I didn't start until high school, so I wish that I was like that 5 or 6 year old that started because whatever.
Never too late. Never too late.
It's not a big deal. I'm still in bands. I get the job done. But being a drummer in a band, there's multiple elements. I love playing live. I love recording. And I hate rehearsing, like most musicians. No, but
rehearsing it's a topic. It's sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not.
Exactly.
It depends how you will do that rehearsal. If the people are prepared, they're showing up on time. But if it's all depends. If you're just a bunch of guys who want to have a good party, it's different. But
of course,
for a gig, for working, it's different.
It is very different. But I just like to slip that in there.
Yeah,
it's fun.
That's fine.
It's fun. But yeah, I enjoy it. I never will buy into the fact that someone, that you should take someone's advice if they're not actively doing the thing you're talking about. Even down to all of our teachers, every single one of our teachers, you can go see play at a gig.
Oh, that's nice.
That's very important to me.
In town, like
locally, So if a student wants to check out different teachers or something, I can say, Thursday go here, Friday go here, Saturday go there. And, not that you'd pick it based on that alone, but if you want to match up stylistically, it's a very cool thing so that not only they can give you the advice and show you, in the lesson studio, but they're out there actually doing it. So it's very important to me that everything here is well-rounded. And that starts with the sales staff. And it also, like I said, continues with the teachers, that they can not only give you advice on what you're learning to make you a better drummer, they can give you practical advice that you can take with you out into the world as you're playing. And then they can also back that up by the fact that they're still out there learning. All of our teachers are still learning. All of our teachers are still playing. And I find that to be very personal, like a personal goal of mine as well, to never be on the sidelines telling people how to play the game.
Oh, no. It's no, yeah. And you just said something like your teacher are still learning. I think there's no ending in music. You always learn. So, and the fact that your student can go see their teacher, it's nice because most of the people are watching music on their phone or iPad or whatever, computer. So the point is like, if you can go in live, it's completely different story. Even if you don't have the best band ever, just to be in front of a band playing a song, it's a different story. And when you're a kid, it's impressive. I remember one of my first show that I've been with my parents. I was watching the drummer and the bands, and I was like, okay, I want to do that. I want to do that, and I was impressed. And the guy was like, it was backbeat, cover band, Beatles, Rolling Stone, stuff like that, and I was like, oh yeah. I didn't do that for my career, but I mean, that person influenced me. I never met that guy, but you know that time was an influence. So imagine if you have some of your students. I don't know what's the youngest you have here by.
So we typically start like 6, 7 years old. You know, because as you know, a lot of what happens with the lesson, like a regular recurring lesson, is homework. And if kids aren't doing their can't even if they love it, you know what I mean. If they can't handle taking some. The real work happens at home, and then you bring it back in, you check in, the teacher can get you to the next step. So that's usually where we start. And our oldest student, I believe, just turned 81.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
We've
got a great range.
That's a great range.
Great range.
81, I think it's noble. And I had a student, like when I was teaching him, that guy was around 70. A friend of mine been his teacher, and I think he died around 93, 94, and he was still playing drums.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was not the best, but he was playing with his heart.
Yeah.
And he was playing pretty cool. I mean, like it was cover band songs from the 50s, 60s, 70s. But I mean, it's nice. And he was practicing an hour or two per day. It's a passion. Like he finished working at 65, retired, and he started playing drums like as a professional person in some ways, It's pretty impressive. You said you started when you were in high school. I don't think there's like a bad time to start music. It's just the way you involve yourself into it.
Right.
And it's just that if you're ready to learn and practice and just the way you just did, like
same thing.
Involve yourself in.
You just immerse yourself in it.
That's it. It's like
that's the most. And I really dove in. I got a job doing it, and
just like I was saying that because the people watching sometimes they're like, because Drumfills Café is not just for drummer. We have like musician or like people they just like music, and I know some people text me, I'm scared of starting drums. I play a bit of a guitar. It's like there's never a day you can start tomorrow, and that's
exactly
fine. It's fine. And like I just said, there's no excuse. It's just your time, your schedule. Like you have a bunch of pads there. Now, if you're not so ready, you can just get a pad, a pair of stick, and you don't bother nobody. You can start to do stuff at home. And when you feel you want to jump another step, well, you can get like a small electronic kit or like a beginner kit. If you're thinking it's too noisy, you can put mesh heads on it. There's so many ways now you can accommodate someone who wants to start. So there's no excuses.
If you want to play the drums, do it.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is it's not going to be like, oh, now I'm a drummer and it's perfectly smooth ride. No, there's going to be dips.
Oh yeah.
And there's huge valleys of lack of motivation to practice, lack of motivation to play in front of people, fear. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of real human emotions that get exaggerated when you start to consider playing in front of people. And the first person that you play in front of could be your very first teacher. And that anxiety can surmount playing in front of a huge audience for someone like you or I.
Yep.
It's a very real human experience. And that's one of the things that the shop, and this isn't me just plugging our shop. Any drum shop or music store that has a lesson program, if there's a private lesson, and you have a guide to be like, I've been there. That's huge. I mean, that's massive to have that support system. So really what we're doing here is we're just building a community for our local musicians, but also because of social media, we're reaching out into the world. And
you have a great later. I want you talk a little bit about your social media, but you can talk about it right now.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you have your cup with the logo on it?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a cup from Drum Key Podcast, our podcast.
It's pretty cool, actually. You should check it out.
There's a really great episode where we interview you. Yes. Go check that one out first.
But you have I told you have a great spot up upstairs where they can record people coming in, but it's nice because you are very proactive with the shop. I mean, without that side, you're trying to make some kind of reel and some stories in the store showing stuff, and some are just funny stuff, but some are really cool. I like when you wrap drums and you show how you make. Sometimes it takes time because you have the lapse, the time lapse.
Even with a time lapse, I can have a 9-minute video, and everyone's like, "This is too long." I'm like, "Do you want to see the whole process?"
It takes time just to to remove all the glue and all that. It's a process.
Yeah, and the social media is just another step in the constant evolution of drums, etc.
Yep.
You know, when I took over, that was a huge thing that I stepped into. And you know, people are probably watching from all around the world in different places. And what's happening with a lot of drum shops, you know, and we're gonna get real specific, in music stores. Let's just talk music stores in general. What's happening with a lot of music stores is there were a lot of music stores started in the 80s. Right? Mid to late 80s. And those hardcore founders are now retiring.
Yeah, they're not there.
So if people don't step up and, you know, get in and say, hey, let's, you know, talk about like a, you know, succession plan with them and or offer that you're interested in taking over, you know, it's a lot easier in a lot of these people's cases to shut them down. And there's such, and it takes so long to build it back up, right? So I think that you know, as a drum shop, you have to constantly be evolving. So my point in bringing all this up is that when I took over, there were a lot of things that you know, the previous owner hadn't really delved into in a long way. He had taken a step into the social media game, but hadn't really immersed himself that much into it, and it was a convenient side thing, you know. And as you know now, that's how you stay relevant. So it was one of the top priorities for me to evolve into that. And I equate that, which throws people for a loop sometimes, but I equate that to exactly what he did when he reached out to Modern Drummer, bought their mailing list, and sent catalogs out.
That's smart.
Right? I equate the same move to when he knew that era was over, pulled the catalogs, and paid buku bucks back in the day. I mean, if you did the cost analysis on the first Drums Etc. website, it's insane what he paid.
Oh no, yeah, it was like 5 number probably, like
easily.
Like easily.
Yeah, like take out a loan to build a website. It's hard to imagine nowadays, but same thing there. That's the next step in evolution. And so when I took over, I knew that we were behind the game on the social media thing, and I was like, let's go. Like this is not only something I want to do, it's a necessity for business to continue. So I appreciate you giving us compliments, because we try to stand out and be different and really try to capture the experience when you walk into the shop. It's going to be dumb jokes sometimes. It's going to be extreme, deep, nerdy conversations. You might see drums being rewrapped, worked on, repaired. So I just want to take a glimpse of what our local community feels and try to share that with everyone, because that's our mission. You know, we spend a lot of time doing and being very intentional about what we do here. So I want to share that with
because there's
people.
a lot of people, they want to make business or purchase something that they know you have because you're a smaller business, and because they feel for like a connection. But before, you were limited by like just the surrounding of like close to your store. But now with the social media, you can have a guy in Alaska. He's like, I like this snare. Can you ship it to me? But can I have a video of it first? Can you call me? There's ways it was not possible like a couple of years ago. And now and you just said, just to do an add-on, when I was a kid, going to a music store, the only way I could see which drum was the catalog. So I was asking, do you have the new Tama catalog or the Pearl? And I was turning pages, and you I had gold in my eyes. I was like, oh, that's sparkling. You know, that's crazy. It was the only way. And I remember they have like folders with these. You could take catalog back home, and they didn't have to do much publicities. You have to go to the store to get. Now, you just said with that Tama, it's you can find online the kit
everywhere.
So what you want is to people have a connection, an experience, and they can be linked to you for a long term. You just said you buy your first kit here, but not here, but in Drum Etc. At the other store, and you're the owner now. So you have a long story. So I think it's very cool. And on my side, I don't, because I travel all my life, I have a couple of stores, and they all know what I'm talking about. Like in Canada, in the US, in Europe, that I always go for buying stuff. And sometimes 2-3 stores in the same city, I don't see that as a competition. For me, it's just like, I like the people. So I will go purchase equally things in these stores for what I need. And I think you can really reach now with what you're doing. And something I like, you do videos for different categories of people. I mean, people will watch your videos, they can be like 15 years old. But there are people, they will like, you just say 80 years old. So some video, you just said, that's too long. Sorry, you want to see the whole process, but somebody will like it. So that's the good thing about social media. But the bad thing is a good thing. You need to create a lot. It's a time consuming, but you will reach a lot of people with that. And it's going to be a spoke of the town. People will start talking about that. So it's good. How many videos you can produce per week? Let's say like 4, 5, or 6.
It's funny because there's like it's turned into this release schedule. Right now on my phone, I have probably like 35 videos that I just need to get around to scheduling and posting. And so it's a constant machine of creating things. And when people say, oh, it's a content creating machine, they can have a lot of negative thoughts about it, but it's just communication.
It's communication, yeah.
It's on-demand communication. That's all it is. So I want to record a conversation I'm having. I want to record a project I'm working on to share it with people, and it's just a matter of getting around to editing it and putting it out there. So there's I would say a third of the content that we put out is on the fly. This happened today. You know what I mean? This came in. Like this came in today.
Open box now.
Like I put a video of that Ludwig kit, and we just put that together today.
And it's a great
deal.
It's a great kit.
And I got 5 of them. So I'm like, in this deal, I got 5 of them. Here it is. And I put that out today. Another video I released today, I filmed last week. And a video before that was a video from an event that we had that was a tribute to Ringo Starr event. And I put out that clip, but that happened 2 weeks ago. That kind of thing. Or I might put out, the video for the Pennsylvania Drum Show that I put out, the big promo thing for this year. It was clips from last year. So in that case, I filmed stuff last year at the show for now. So there's a lot of planning that can go into it. And right now it's the, as far as ideas, it's the whole team, but physically doing it right now, it's just me. I've got a team of 3 other guys helping me out, and that's everything. That's everything.
I know that there's people that are only looking for like unboxing stuff. There's other people that likes to see people trying stuff. Like if you go on YouTube, you can, or whatever, you can see like different things. But it's hard to, like you just said, for one person, that one deal person, to produce so many videos. It's time, it's budget, it's all that. But the important thing is you're there.
Yes.
I mean, I think this is the most important thing. Is no matter, because now you can have a phone for record a video, and it's gonna be great. The point is like, it's not about the technical part of it. It's more like to be there, to be involved, and like in showing things. You're active, So talking about the active, you just said there's a Pennsylvania drum show coming up. It's in a few weeks. Can you first talk about last year experience you had, and after that, let's go for this year. So first, we'll go back. I will rewind. When that show started, like how many years ago?
So the Pennsylvania Drum Show started in 1995.
Yeah, that's so long.
So this is a parallel story to me picking up the shop. 85 to 2025, 95 to 2025. The show was started as a vintage drum show. In Pennsylvania, obviously, but in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, is where it was held most often, by a guy named Jack Lawton. And Jack Lawton has Lawton Drum Company, and he's still working on drums, still doing things. He's the guy I actually learned how to rewrap drums from.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a very connected person. So how I got in touch with Jack is I reached out to have a booth at his show. Now, for those that don't know what a drum show is, because it sounds like a production with like a drum off or
flyer.
something.
No, flyer.
Right. It's not that. A drum show is basically, it boils down to 3 things. It's a marketplace, it's a showcase, and it's a community event. So what we do and how we run the drum show, I'll just get to that point and then I can rewind, is we rent out a big space. The event space we rent out is Mickey's Black Box, which is actually a concert venue.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And we tear down the stage, and we basically make this huge marketplace showroom floor. We sell 10 by 10 booths, and those booths are filled with people selling drums, selling and trading drums, and talking and communicating and making connections. And so it's basically half of a flea market or yard sale type thing, and half a trade show. We combine both because we're a drum shop. So we've had vendors that are inventors that are coming up with a new hi-hat contraption. We've had vendors that are just hobbyist collectors that just have a ton of stuff, and this is their basement, and they bring it to sell. And they want to showcase some stuff and sell some stuff, maybe.
Nice.
That kind of thing. Yeah, and then we have other drum shops, like Drums Etc. could have a booth there, and that's how I reached out to Jack. I'll get to that in a sec. And then we have some smaller companies that are making their drums. There's a lot of DIY snare drum makers in their garage shop making
There's a lot
drums.
of custom,
A lot of
good
custom.
builders
Yes.
that they don't have a voice.
Yes.
You know, yes, online, but they don't have the platform, and they cannot afford, let's say, to go to the NAMM show. It's a reality. The booths are way too expensive
Ridiculous.
so they can have a place to gather and show their stuff, and the people can touch it. Because I will say, when you're online to see something, it's something. When you're in person and you have that thing, it's another story. So I'm sure it's a good platform for them. Just
Absolutely.
bring their drum and people can really try their drums.
Absolutely. And so when I reached out to Jack, I was just reaching out to have Drums Etc. maybe join his show, because I heard about it for years. I'd never been. And he said, hey, well, I've done it for 25 years. You know, I think last year was the last year for the show. And I was like, oh, this is via email. Via email, I was very respectful. I didn't immediately jump to us doing it. I said, thank you so much for your time. You know, I always go from a place of gratitude, and I think that goes a long way in the music community, and that's just how I am. And so I said, thank you so much for your time. If you have a minute, I'd love to talk to you or get any advice if we'd want to put on our own sort of expo or show or something, because you've got all this knowledge and experience, expertise. And so he said, hey, here's my number. I'm going to give you a call. So he gave me a call, and I was actually at Home Depot parking lot up here, and you know, I gave him a call, and I said, hey, Jack, you know, what's going on? My name's Adam. I own a drum store, this and that. And 2.5 hours later,
It's like
Pennsylvania Drum Show was moving to Lancaster. He's given us the name, and he wants to carry on the legacy. And you know, he's grandfathered in and having a booth at the show because he loves. Jack, like I mentioned before, rewraps drums and is actually he was the reason years ago when Ludwig reissued a certain number of snare drums with the top hat and cane. The Slingerland's top hat and cane design. He was the one that brought that back and made those drums and kind of, you know, so he's been integral to Ludwig specifically and their you know, their culture and their product.
That's a big Ludwig culture.
Huge. So he's been in the drum world for a very long time. So his show was a vintage drum show. Now, because we're a drum shop and we have all these connections, we've kind of elevated the show to a different place. Most like local drum shows are going to be in a VFW. They're going to have, you know, rusty tables and chairs set up in the corner.
It's cold.
Dusty drums, exactly. We moved it to a premier music venue, the type of place that has lights for lighting the audience. So we've got the mezzanine levels and the downstairs. We've got a drum circle happening out front last year. We've got food trucks. You know, it's become this elevated thing.
It's a hangout. It's a day of hangout.
Absolutely. So we added two big elements. One is Industry Alley. So we now have the element of that NAMM show by bringing brands out. Last year, not all of them are confirmed for this year, but last year we had Zildjian, Peisty, Meinl, Gretsch, and Schlagwork Percussion. All at our little show here in Pennsylvania.
But it's a good market. That's the thing. It's a huge market.
And that's they get such valuable feedback one-on-one with the customer. Not the people who are going to buy, not the shops. NAMM turned into a party years ago, and it's never gone back. You know, it's an expensive party is what NAMM is. This is a place where not only can you give feedback and say, hey, why don't you reissue this? And they'll write it down and actually take it to R&D. Get your questions answered by reps from the companies. And then also, if you really like that cymbal, you can pick it up and buy it.
You can purchase it.
You don't have to be, you know, an endorsed artist to be able to buy something like at these trade shows. You can ring it out, and we'll ring it out for you.
I like this snare drum. Okay, you can pick it up.
That is the coolest thing, and those companies bring the cutting edge stuff that hasn't been released yet, that just got released. You can hear it and try it before you ever see it in a prototype. The stuff before you ever see it months in our store.
That's great.
You can get access to it. And the second element of it, like I said, a showcase. Obviously, people showcasing stuff, but is the drum clinic. So year one, we had Pat Petrillo do the drum clinic. We had one grand finale drum clinic. Fantastic time. Last year, we had Ed Toth of the Doobie Brothers. He did the clinic. And this year, we're ramping it up. We have a great lineup. We have Aaron Kennedy, amazing drummer. He's going to be doing the first clinic. We have you coming out, Boudreault. And then we have Matt Greiner from August Burns Red. So we have 3 clinicians, 3 clinics happening. We also have a drum circle that happens at the event. We have live demos happening at different booths at different times. We're talking about even putting more things onto a schedule as far as, come see me re-wrap a drum at a booth.
This is nice.
That kind of thing, that knowledge, that institutional knowledge to share. Our lesson program has free lessons happening. Electronic kits, put on, sit down and play, because you're going to get the itch to play. So that was us solving that, is, okay, you can sit down, you can play this and not bash and crash.
That's pretty nice.
So the drum show is just an amazing drummer event, and it's as I describe it to everyone, it's a road trip worthy event. We had people drive from Canada. We had people drive from the Midwest. Some folks out west flew over. We have a lot of people coming up from Florida.
Because there's not so many around. I mean, you have Chicago, but it's still a ride from here. It's not close.
Yeah.
You have the Nashville one, but it's not close.
That's a new one.
The new one.
Yeah.
And it's like
and then
10
Delaware drum shows are great.
Delaware. Yeah, it's the closest. After that, not
Yeah.
many.
And because of when it was started, the Pennsylvania Drum Show behind Chicago it's the second longest running drum show in the country.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
and I'm just so excited to be a part of it and to elevate it. It's one of those things where we're building things here. I'm so privileged and honored to have a hand in building the things that I want.
Yeah.
Right? I remember the first year that we did 2 years ago, I walked around the drum show and I was like, this is so cool that someone did this. Like, not in a weird egotistical way.
No,
I forgot because I was having so much fun.
You enjoyed the moment.
Yeah. I was enjoying the moment. And that's what it's all about. And there's food, drinks, bar open, like, you hang out all day is the idea, and there's stuff happening every couple hours. There's an event happening if you want to go check it out.
I like the fact you just said maybe you will wrap a drum. I think you should really wrap a drum. Yeah. This is a snare drum or something, because the owner for Bill from the Ludwig, he purchased, not Ludwig, what's it called? I have a blank. That guy he just purchased he's from the family from Ludwig, and he built his own drum now. What's it called? They have the logo is
William F. Ludwig III.
Yes, the third.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm tired tonight. He did something like that. You could go to his shop and see him. You can make your own, and see them wrapping kit and a snare. Sorry, and you can purchase that snare that you wrap and you assemble. I think it's a good experience to do. So I think if you do that at the event, it would be great, because a lot of people have no idea. And Ludwig culture, I think, is the #1 drum player kit, the old one, rewrap. I mean, there's so many drummers now. They're taking an old Ludwig, polish it, make it good, and rewrap. And you have great wraps. You have the precision one. They're probably the best wrap you can get. So that's a good thing. It's like you can really do a very good job. You do that a lot right now, right? You're rewrapping a lot of kits.
A lot. We're doing a lot of drum rewrapping. We're doing a lot of bracket installation. The era of the hanging floor tom is gone.
It's done.
I'm sorry if you love the hanging floor tom, it's gone. I'm putting so many legs on floor toms. Now, that said, when someone comes to us, because we're not the factory, we can do whatever works for your budget.
Yeah, you put whatever.
So there's some guys that come in and they'll bring me, and this might be taboo, they'll bring me a Ludwig set, but they like the Gretsch brackets, so they want the Gretsch brackets, that kind of thing. Or there's also folks that just want a tom mount on their kick drum, and it's an entry-level kit, and the Gibraltar is great.
Oh, it works perfect.
So we do that, So we have a whole room over there that I call the hardware store, and we've got everything that every company makes parts and pieces wise. Drum sets are only about 50 pieces, But when you add, we have to stock 50, 60 pieces from 4 eras with 10 brands, it ends up being a lot. So we have our slat walls covered with parts. But the nice part is you can just bring the drum. We'll pick out the parts together. I'll do the work for you. You can watch it. I'll record it. And you have that as kind of a gift.
Yeah, I saw you rewrapping a kit recently. Is it the PDP or DW kit?
I've been doing a lot of collector's kits
and
lately.
I've seen you rewrap a kit from, I think it was, I don't remember the color, original color, but it was a red at the end or something like that, kind of. And it's cool because let's say you pay the kit like $3,000 and you had the kit for 10 years. You like the way it sounds, but you want like a refresh. You can rewrap the kit.
And it's going to be less than buying a new kit. Yeah. And there's no hassle of selling the kit.
No, I know. It's just I know some people, they would say maybe the value. It depends,
Sure,
I said.
Sure.
But if you have the mind of I'm keeping this kit. I love this kit. I have this kit for 15 years. Yeah. I think it's a good add-on. And sometimes some kit are pretty beat up. Even if so, better remove the bad wrap and just put a new wrap.
Right now, the ratio is like 50-50 where it's people restoring stuff.
Exactly.
Back to silver sparkle,
Yep.
back to,
White marine pearl, whatever.
white marine pearl. And then there's other folks that are like, I have this pearl export and I want it to be Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
That black
Let's do
sparkly.
Yeah, with like the confetti look.
confetti. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's a good thing, a great thing that we're doing. But I've just expanded even further, which is a second passion of mine is like woodworking, and I've always worked around tools.
Yep.
And so what we've done is we've taken to a next step. So now we're actually cutting shell depths differently.
That's popular
doing
now.
bearing edges.
Yep.
Doing that sort of thing. So if you have these big power toms, you can now cut them down to something modern. It's all in what people want to do. We're not making any decisions. We're just giving you guys the options to do what you want to do. And people have these ideas, and they'll send us stuff from all over the U.S. right now. We're getting a lot of stuff from California. Different people send the drum in, I do the work, and I ship it back. Easy.
That's great. That's great. Talking about drum, because the time flies. Talking about kit. What is your main kit, or what are your main kits? Like what do you like?
Yeah. And the longer I work around drums, the less picky I am, which is so funny. Like I've got cymbal brand, cymbals are all different brands, drums are all different brands. Right now, this past year, I just purchased the Ludwig Legacy Mahogany kit.
Yep.
And it's my Levon Helm tribute kit, because I'm a huge fan of the band and Levon and his simplistic grooving approach. I put wood hoops on it. I made it look like his iconic kit. So I have that Legacy Mahogany kit, and I'm doing a lot of country right now, so it's perfect.
Sounds great.
Perfect. Put a fiber skin on the front head. It looks all old and vintage, but it's my modern vintage.
Modern kit,
That's the thing.
Modern vintage.
I want a vintage sounding kit, but I want it to be as reliable as possible and take on the road.
Hardware, man.
Hardware. Vintage hardware, no one can really argue, wow, that
was
vintage
the best.
hardware was the best. No. Everyone knows it wasn't. So instead of Swiss cheesing one of these things and putting new brackets on a vintage kit or something, I made mine. So I'm playing that primarily right now. It's 24, 13, 16. I've got a raw brass snare drum that's in my current rig, and I have a lot of stuff over the years. So I've got a whole set of vintage A's I'll take out, but sometimes I'll take some 15 sweet hats out, or some HHX stuff. Like I said, it's all over the place, Peisty. I don't. Because of what I do, I can't have endorsements, right?
No,
I'm selling all the brands. And it's really my own personal philosophy preventing me too. Even if I could, get an endorsement with Pearl or whatever, they'd probably love it because I could just sell their stuff and no one else's. I wouldn't want that, because my impartiality, like I mentioned earlier, that's it. If someone asks me my honest opinion, I'm going to give it to them.
But anyway, at the end of the line, every kit can sound great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take that old Tama, like back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
With good heads, good tuning, on stage with microphone.
Great.
Most of the people want, even a drummer, if it's the sound engineer is good tuning, good player.
Yeah.
Won't see a big difference. I remember a long time ago, I did a show. I have a Chameleon PDP kit. These are not great hardware. There was a old kit with smart short stack, 20 by 10, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But the kit was pimped out. I asked they can send me hardware, so I pimped out the kit, but it was still the same shell.
Sure.
So I played, but my snare was another snare, but the kit was that. And I did the opening for a band, let's say, and the headliner had a Sonar SQ2. Great kit. Kit was crazy good. But I finished the show and the guy said, your kit was sounding so good. And the sound engineer, I'm like, it's a DW, right? It's like, no, it's the Chameleon kit. But good heads. I knew my kit. The sound engineer was good. So at the end he's like, it was sounding like the same, like the Sonar. I'm like, it was just like a matter of like, there's no excuses like what now you can take whatever bad kit and make it sound great.
Yeah, I do it all day long. People bring them in all day long. And especially the younger students come in and I teach them how to tune. That's the thing that we do. No matter what we're doing to your drums, like I want to make sure, no. Don't just drop your kit off. Let me show you what I did. Let me show you while I'm doing it. And how about I do one tom and then you do the second one and I'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
That's how you learn. That's how you learn. And you need to be around drummers to do that. That's why this community is so important. And you can go back and forth on a message board about it, or you can take it to a drum shop, hopefully, if you have one, and and do that. You know, we do it all. Obviously, I'm messaging people advice all the time. Sometimes I'm videoing advice and showing people, you know, and I'm also dealing with the phone and someone walking in the door. That's what we do.
But this is funny as I do that all the time too, where people are texting me or Facebook like or Instagram, like, what do you think about that thing or that? Yeah, well, I'm maybe not at the top like you. I'm not in a store where all the gear is, but I have a good idea of how it sounds, what is not, what is good, what's not good.
Yeah.
But I think in between musicians, we can really like give good advices in general. Well, I want we do a short tour of the shop in a few minutes. For last thing, what you want to like talk about, like your Instagram, YouTube, what you would like to put, like promote on your site right now, where people can discover your shop, whatever. Like whatever you think you should talk about at the end, like for promotion or
I think we're Drums Etc., the Drummers Pro Shop in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You know, and my biggest thing as far as promo isn't to be like, oh, like and share. I never liked that kind of thing. My biggest thing is, hey, you can easily find us if you search Drums Etc. in the US. You know, that name is associated with us. No matter what platform it is, no matter how you get in contact with us, whether it's text, call, message, video, in person, anything, we're drummers here helping drummers.
Yep.
And that's where everything boils down to. You need drummers looking out for you. It is a small community. I mean, think about how many guitar players there are versus drummers. You know, it's one of those things that we need. We need to connect. We need to connect, whether it's digitally or in person. We're here to help people.
Yep.
So you know, we got a podcast going on. We got the drum show. We have events. Like, there's so many things I could plug. But the best thing is just find us on social somewhere and then connect to all the others through that. You know, it's all linked up and hooked up. But my biggest thing is just, you know, get out there, take the gig, you know, be kind, be courteous, and really, you know, ambition is measured by action. Correct. You can talk all you want, but you need to get out there and do it. You know, I say I don't know 1,000 times a day in the shop, but I always find out. You know, and that just compounds. Yep. Whether that's with playing, you know, doing a drum project, rapping, I'm very open about, I'm learning this. And your community's there to support you, and you can learn a lot from it. Everything I've learned has been from my employees, the guys that worked at the shop when I was going in, and the community in response to my questions. So there's no dumb questions. And if you're thinking about playing the drums, do it. If you're another musician, I think playing the drums in addition will vastly improve your perspective and your musicianship. I think it's a great idea for folks that might not be drummers. And that's my advice. Just if you're thinking about something, just get out there and do it. You gotta just try it. Just try it, and I think you'll have a good time.
That's a good last thought for the before we do a little tour. So thank you everybody for being here tonight, and thanks Adam, Drum Etc. Please go look at their website, and let's keep in touch. Next week we'll have other guests. And will be my friend Denny, the host, will take care of that. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.